Howdy folks. How you going? It's Friday afternoon. I've just finished knocking up the Brut IPA and IPL split batch brew. Time for a beer. Thought it's time to get in and have a go at this GABS 6-pack. It's a box that was available via Dan Murphy's. This fella here, 2021 limited edition GABS Festival Beer 6-pack. So I think the idea is it's a chance of getting something that's yeah, an example of the kind of beers that we're going through GABS. For those who, like myself, unfortunately just can't get down to these things that easily. I nearly did go this weekend. Was actually Sydney was actually on my birthday. The missus did give me permission to go, but we were going to bloody. It meant I would have been travelling backwards and forwards to the coast 5 times in 6 weeks, and I just wasn't up for it. So anyway, so gonna get into these. This is not going to be big reviews or anything, because these are all obviously they're very limited edition beers. They're something you can't go out and just buy. So it's just going to be a bit of a run through each one as I'm having a go at them. Just a little bit of an impression, a little bit of a rave up. So as I said, Friday afternoon. I'm starting off with Adidas Brewing. If you're sort of following, get on the Facebook page, you'll see that I've recently bought a big pack of Deeds to do a big review on. Cause I've never done an actual brewery review on Deeds. I've done a couple of beers. I've never had a chance to get a lot of their beers. So, but this one was in there. This one's called Cheat Code. It's a hazy tipper, hazy triple. I'm assuming it's triple IPA. 10% alcohol. So it doesn't muck around. Dry hop intensity, 30 grams a litre. So yeah, it's pretty freaking serious. The hops are Citra and it's Citra Cryo. That's about it. We didn't invent Citra, but it's the cheat code of hops, and this beer is packed full of it. Sure, we've experimented using a good amount of malted spelt, but it's all about the Citra. Okay, so obviously the spelt is what's going to give it this beer. It's very hazy and foggy, and that's going to come from the spelt. Basically, yeah, basically flour, which seems to be a thing. I've not played around with it, but it does seem to be a bit of a thing of late. Now, I'm getting a bit of a bloody blocked nose, so don't know how it's affecting me nose as such, but I did open a bag of Sabro hops earlier and it smelled freaking wicked, so it's not completely dead. But it's not a real lot of nose there, not as much as I would have expected. And now I'm not going to charge it. This is obviously 10% ABV. It's a bit of a slow drinker. The initial thing I got there was the alcohol. Not in a savage, nasty way, but it was the very first thing I really picked up in the mouth was the alcohol. It very quickly got taken over by the hops and the juice of the Citra. It was quite smooth considering that 10%. And I said it does hit initially, and you're sort of waiting for it to sort of just become overpowering and all the rest of the beer, but then it follows through with that creaminess and some nice soft citrus. And the citrus is, again, surprisingly soft considering they're calling it a triple IPA. But again, there's obviously a big bill there of malt to balance it up. So it works. It's not a bad drop. You know, the alcohol's noticeable. It's not as much as you would, or you could expect it to be. It's clearing me nasal passages. That's a bonus. But yeah, certainly it's not hidden. You do know it's there, but I think it's hidden enough that you could drink this reasonably quickly. You could quite. I think you could sit down and drink this like a everyday NEPA. The alcohol's not that big of a burn to go, whoa, settle down. Well, I'm going to settle down. I'm going to just sip on this for a little bit before I ease into the end of the afternoon and the evening. So that's beer number one, and it's a nice drop. Certainly got me interested in seeing the rest of me D's pack when I get to it, and guess it's a start here on this bloody run. So I'll see you soon for the next one. Righto, folks, beer number two. Just randomly grabbed the can out, and it's from Bright Brewery. What's it called? Aviation Cocktail Sour. So Bright, these guys are down there on the foot of the Snowy Mountains down there in Victoria, up the road from, in the general area of Beechworth. This is where they grow all the hops, or most of the hops get grown down there, certainly a lot of them. Okay, this is done in collaboration with our friends at Bright's Reed. So at Bright's Reed and Co Distillery. Bright's Brewery's Aviation Cocktail Sour is a stylish and sophisticated sour ale with a vivid and distinctive purple hue. Okay, there's a little bit more info there. Let's get a pour on and have a look at this distinctive purple hue. Because I've done a purple beer a while back, and it was very purple. Certainly more purple than this one. Anyway, let's get some light on. Light up. Might be a bit easier to see with the big bright light on. Yeah, I don't know that I'd really call that purple, but I am colourblind. It doesn't look like, looks more like a fucking crimson-y, edging towards pink and maroony sort of colour to me. Anyway, brewed with classic gin botanicals, hand selected by Reed & Co.'s head distiller to reflect its namesake cocktail. The Aviation Cocktail Sour derives its vibrant purple colour from blue pea flowers. It's light, tart, and refreshing sour ale. Light, tart, and refreshing. And a few girls like that over the years. Alright, I'm not entirely sure what to think of that. Well, I've got to say, it is light, tart and refreshing. There's, you can't argue with that. That's pretty well true. It's tart without being ridiculously sour. Quite dry. You can feel it trying to dry around the extremes of the mouth. I can't really put my finger on the flavour. To me it seems like a cranberry, yeah, and that could be a bit of fucking brain going with the colour, but it's that sort of a taste and edge that I'm getting. Now, they're saying the classic gin botanicals. I'm not much of a gin drinker. I don't like it. So I've never drunk much of it, so I don't really have a great association with what flavours things like the juniper, you know, can give. So can only assume the flavours coming, obviously, coming from there, because that's the flavourings they've used. But if I didn't know, somebody just gave that to drink, I didn't know what was actually, what they're telling me that flavoured it with, I'd be leaning towards something along like cranberry and strawberry. It's sort of like got the tartness of the cranberry with a little touch of, just a little touch of sweetness, yeah, that the strawberry brings. So yeah, it's a bit of a conflict of descriptors there. 5.1% alcohol, so it's a bit on the heavy side for a sour that normally run, you know, more that sort of low four sort of range. They're a bit on the, tend to be a bit on the lighter side, so I don't see myself drinking this particularly quickly. Some sours, like they are refreshing enough, you can sort of get them in here. Mind you, it is the middle of winter. It's not hot. I'm not fucking thirsty. You know, not bloody going, oh, gee, I fucking need something nice and, yeah, thirst quenching. So, yeah, hot summer day might be a different, kettle of fish, but overall, not a bad drop. Is it significantly different enough and out there enough to warrant, yeah, maybe slipping into a pack exemplifying the diversity of GABS? Yeah, I don't think so. It's just another fucking sour as far from that angle. There's not enough distinctive stuff in there to go, okay, well, I can see why it stands out. But not a terrible beer, not a great beer. Yeah, yellow line, middle of the road. It's nothing more than you'd expect to get with any sour you go and buy off the shelf. So anyway, that's it. See you in the next beer. Rightio. Just like Fozzie Bear and Kermit the Frog, moving right along. Next fella, Wonderlust. It's a New England IPA from, oh, it's Mountain Culture. Oh, that's interesting. These guys. I've been impressed by what these guys have done with what I've tried up to this point. So I hadn't noticed this one was actually made by, so probably should have grabbed the appropriate glassware, but anyway. Just as Kermit said to Fozzie, it's too fucking late now. It's our GABS debut, so we've gone all out with this special mountain cultured NEPA by tossing in a combo of our finest Citra and Sabro hops and using our house juicy yeast strain from all our most popular beers. Expect flavours of grapefruit, a hint of coconut and lime, and of course our signature soft mouthfeel. Okay, so they're going fucking straight up the fucking guts for nothing out of the ordinary either. Anyway, 7% alcohol. Wonderlust New England IPA. It's got a nice frothy head. It's got the obligatory look of juice. Sorry, got the pouch out looking at the next extravaganza brew. That's an interesting nose. It smells like a pine lime slice. Yeah, that sort of thing. It's a tropical citrusy note with that sweetness and creaminess. I'm thinking that may be coming a bit from the Sabro. So they're saying hints of coconut and lime, along with grapefruit. So the coconut and lime, it's going to give you that spicy sort of a bloody nose, I reckon. In fact, this is interesting because I've just put down a couple of days ago a brewed IPA with Sabro and New Zealand hop. Citrus seems to be pretty much par for the course for for New England. The Sabro might be a little bit different, but it's only just starting to sort of develop its place, I think. Okay, I'm getting that pine lime, that spicy flavour just on the lips. Just a tiny bit in the very end of the mouthfeel, but not up front. But it doesn't have that typical, punch of juice that you quite often get with a NEPA. Look, I can't say I can particularly pick coconut, but I'm certainly getting that island vibe of dessert and ice cream and I mean, having used coconut in plenty of beer, like in a few beers, I know it's very difficult to get a real distinct coconut flavour, but you can get the feel and the vibe, and that's more what it's about. It's more the feel and the vibe of the coconut, creating that creamy sort of a texture, that desserty, light sort of ice creamy sort of a flavour and feel, which it doesn't mention on here, but I've seen that used as a descriptor for the Sabro, creamy, and it's certainly got that. So you've got this creamy tropical sort of note, and then with a little bit of lime. Yeah, it's both would be grapefruit, because it's not your typical citrus. It's not orange, mandarin. It is a bit more subtle. So more the grapefruity sort of a note. This is actually funny because there's a one of the beers here. It's almost giving me the feel of the Nipah Frost of the Sun, like a Nipah float. You know, like someone's taken a normal Nipah and put a drop of ice cream in there, possibly some sort of a coconut ice cream in there. Yeah, and it's slowly melting and it's adding that little creaminess in the mouthfeel. I don't know if I want to drink a lot of it. But at 7%, you're not going to be sitting down slim to India. It's nice enough to just sip away on. Not a bad beer for this sort of afternoon. It was a bit cooler. Yeah, you don't want to. You're not trying to wash the dust out of your mouth. You're not trying to cool yourself down. You just want something nice and tasty in your mouth, and something that's going to give you a little bit of warmth through the soul as you're drinking it. I think this is going to do it. So yeah, mountain culture, they've not stepped out really too much outside of the realms, but they've produced a nice beer. So I'm going to enjoy this, and I'll see you guys sometime in the future when I eat the next beer in this pack. Oh, hey guys, here we go. Beer number 4. This fella here. This is from Dayton. Amplifier, cranked up, hazy. I think it's a hazy. I think it says hazy dipper. I'll confirm exactly. No, just cranked up hazy IPA. 8% ABV, 50 IBU. Sometimes you just need to plug in, turn the big dial to full and let it rip. Stomp the floor, cut the rug, let it all out. Live life amplified. No preservatives, keep me cold, and rock and roll before opening. No, I didn't rock and roll. Really? No, there's a bit of yeast in the bottom there. I thought there might have been. I probably should have thought of that as I was going. But anyway, in she goes. Yeah, that's got her out. Didn't make much difference. But anyway, the Dayton rolls in with like the Deeds. I've tried a few of their beers. They generally do really good, decent quality. I've had a couple I wasn't, super impressed with, but generally overall they do really good, really good, decent beers. So this one I'm looking at. No indication at all as to what is in there. It's very much your typical hazy IPA. If anything, it's a little bit pushing a little bit into the brown side. It's orange, but pushing into a light tannish, brownish hue there. There's not a real big nose on it. I would have expected a bigger nose. They're saying it's amplified. Packed 28th of the 4th. April, May, June. That's 2.5 months old. So it's getting a getting a little long. It's probably starting to lose a little bit of its impact. Okay, there's a lot happening there. First thing I got was the mineral, was that it was quite salty. So obviously it's the chloride. I think I've commented this with Dayton previously. I do recall that their beers were very chloride-y. They do push that chloride level quite a lot. Obviously that's the style, but they seem to push it a lot more than other brewers. So that's the first one I was getting, with that. It was a salt-like, and then it was, obviously, salt's a chloride. But that little bit of differentiation between, say, the salt of a goza and the actual chloride bite. It's not as salty on that second mouthful once your mouth's adjusted. It is more that mineral feel, and then there's a creamy fruit coming through, just like that mountain culture. There's a creamy, desserty sort of note to it. And again, that's it's a combination of minerals, the hops they're using, that biotransformation, all plays into a part of that sort of a feel. So the fruit comes on really after the chloride comes in, big mineral hit, and it runs into a little bit of creaminess from the hops, and the fruit comes in. Again, giving you sort of like that, fruit, like a beer, that beer spidery sort of a thing, like the mountain culture did. So there could be a hop playing a part, but this is quite tasty. But again, it's to some point, but again, it's a very run-of-the-mill beer to be taking the GABS. This isn't that much different to any can they're knocking out any other week of the bloody year. And the reality is they probably haven't really made any efforts to go for a particular beer for GABS. They've probably just gone, this is what we've sort of run on with, and let's go. This one is very seems to be fairly available at the moment in most online suppliers, so it's not like it's a short run. You're not getting that limited beer with something a little bit different that a lot of breweries will run for GABS. This one I think is just a standard Dayton, bang 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 back to back releases. It's just another version of an hazy IPA to go along with the other fucking 47,000 that they've made. They do them really well, and from my experience, they're certainly up there as one of the best. I'm looking forward to the deeds pack I've got there, because there's a whole bunch of bloody varying hazy IPAs and NEPAs and dippers and all the rest of it. So I'm really interested to get into that and see how they compare over the range. But if you can get hold of that, worth a crack, especially if you are into the hazy IPAs. It's for me, it's a very typical Dayton sort of a beer. Good. Righto, well, I'm going to finish this fella up. I'm about to dry hop the Brut IPA. And check on a few other beers. And I'll be back soon with beer number 5. We're getting there. Righto, here we go. Beer number 1 before the last one. This is from Sea Legs Brewing, Sunday beer. 7.6%, 375ml can. It says on the sleeve of the blue. Listen for green sleeves and get your gold coins ready. Brewed with chocolate malt, toffee malt, heaps of lactose, and dry hopped and fermented with citra, Sabro and cashmere hops. Sunday beer is a scoop above the rest. Additions of raspberry and strawberry puree, vanilla, moonshine coffee beans, and cacao nibs. Really other cherry on top. Pour it hard for a frothy nitro finish. The directions for use: give the can a light shake, open, followed by a hard vertical pour. Okay, I've fallen for that fucking nonsense before and had beer all over my bloody table. So, there we go anyway. It's got a little little sticker on top. It says step 1, shake well for a few seconds. Step 2, open and hard vertical pour. Step 3, enjoy. Now obviously she's got the nitro going on. So, like I said, I've done this before with this sort of Ravon, and it's caused all sorts of problems. So, but let's see how we go. Start my froth up. We'll go for an old school straight upside down pour. It's not really pouring hard, but anyway. No, she's going to stay under control. Now, I've seen a few posts about this one where people have had some not too favourable things to say about it, so we'll see how we go. It certainly fits the bill of pushing limits, doing something different for GABS that the other couple, some of the other beers haven't really done. So straight up kudos for that. First thing, the nitro pour hasn't really seemed to have done any fucking thing of any great significance. And there's been comments made about how bloody terrible this beer looks, and it does look pretty fucking ordinary. It's a fucking horrible colour. Okay, there's a weird, not a weird note, but it's unusual, it's just different. Hard to pick exactly what it sort of is. Not a big nose, it's a little bit of, I can pick up the raspberry, you can smell the lactose. I'm not sure what else I'm picking up. I mean, there's a lot of things going on here. So let's dive in. Okay, looks like pond water. Tastes like pond water with a raspberry addition. Yeah, I tell you what, for all the things that they've bloody put in this, it's just, well, It's just lacking anything of interest. It's not it doesn't taste bad. It just doesn't taste good. It's not like you can't, you can't drink it. There's nothing sort of enticing you to come back and have some more. And given all the things they've got in here, heaps of lactose. Well, I'm not getting heaps of lactose. That's just their version. Obviously their interpretation of heaps of lactose is different to my interpretation. Now I'm not getting any of the coffee. I'm not getting any vanilla. I'm not getting chocolate. I'm not getting any chocolate from the cocoa nibs. Strawberry puree and raspberry and strawberry puree. I'm getting the raspberry. Now, you look hard. You can get a touch of vanilla with that. But yeah, nah. I'll give them fucking marks for having a go. It's something different. That's what GABS can be. Can be about. Try something different, but yeah. At the same time, put something out that showcases what you can do. This is a big opportunity. GABS is a big way of getting out there and showing what you can do to people who may not necessarily have a chance to try your beers in a normal, normal, to give them a hint to try and come chasing after it. And this doesn't say to me, find some Sea Legs beers and try them. It's unfortunate. Yeah, not a winner. I've had far worse. But yeah, it's just it's just ordinary and nothing great going on. Anyway, one beer to go, which coincidentally will be the last one. So hopefully we can finish with a big one. But it won't be tonight. But for you at home, it will be very shortly. Righto. Here we go. Last beer in this pack. Got from. Been a bit of a haul. No, I did joke when I was left with the pack about doing all this doing all 6 on a Saturday afternoon, but yeah, no, that was not likely to happen. No one wanted to hear my opinion on beers after about bloody, I think it was like 14 standard drinks, I think, in the 6-pack. So anyway, here we are. Pouring in the tall glass. Last brew was from Urban Alley. It's a maple banana split your pants beer. Maple banana split your pants beer. It's a Dunkel Weiss beer. 7.2% alcohol. Would appear to be a 375ml can. 2.1 standard drinks. Yep. Imagine waking up to find a stack of freshly cooked pancakes, sliced banana and drizzled with maple syrup
If that feeling and flavour could be isolated, fermented and canned, the result would be the beer you now behold. Combining classic German-style wheat beers with dark malts and turning up the flavour, we've created a strong, dark wheat beer to tingle the taste buds and a guaranteed slam dunkel. Anyway, okay, well, we'll see. Pancakes, banana and maple syrup. Do the happy dance. Okay, it's a weird nose. Okay, there's a little bit of that wheat. There's a little bit of that typical wheat nose there. There's a tone there in the nose which I call it a sting, but it's not. It doesn't sting the nose. It's a stinging sort of a smell, and it's one I associate with, to some degree, with high fermentable adjuncts, and more from the that honey, and there's that syrupy side, so honey, golden syrup. Molasses to some degree, but yeah, those sugary liquids that I find quite often leave that sharp nose in a beer. There's a sort of a little bit of a smell there, with sort of a butterscotchy, vanilla sort of a tang, which I'm going to put down to somewhat to the to that pancake maple syrup sort of a thing. It's different. Okay. You get that dunkel, that dark wheat beer. You get that sort of typical flavour you expect with that. A little bit of the roast, the tartness of the wheat, and then you get this sweet, notes. Sort of you're getting a hint of the maple syrup. But it's not necessarily the good side of the maple syrup. It's not that, that sweet, warm side. It's more that, that cutting astringent note that it has underneath, that generally the high sugar content hides in the syrup. But those astringent notes and the tannins that you get from it being a wood product, the sap of a tree, it has those notes underneath, and I think because it obviously strips all the sugary side out during the ferment, and it leaves those harsher notes remain. It's not a massive amount, but I'm not getting anything that feels anything like pancakes or bananas. Yeah. You can get the feel that there's something in there that's not bloody in any great huge way, not any way that's really, you know, inspiring or, you know, overly interesting. It's not undrinkable. It's drinkable, and it's, yeah, something you could sip on. It's got those characters there. It's almost bloody falls in that range of sort of like a red wine where you could you sit and you sip it slowly. Yeah, which is fair enough. It's, like I said, it's probably 7% alcohol. It's not something you want to be ripping into too quickly. So yeah, from that angle, it's, yeah, it's done a job, but it just isn't doing what they're telling you it's going to. And that, as we all know, I really don't like that. Don't tell me it tastes like a pile of pancakes if it's not going to taste like a pile of pancakes. You can tell me you've used pancakes or similar ingredients to make the beer, but don't tell me it tastes like it if it doesn't. But yeah, so this one's not a bloody, it's not a failure, but it doesn't live up to what it's telling me. So anyway, that's the GABS pack done. Yes, it took me a little longer than I was planning, but that's going to happen. Yeah, not the only beers I've got around to drink, and there's other stuff that goes on in between. Obviously, as you'll know, watching the channel, this has probably taken me best part of a week and a half, I think, to sit and get through all these fellas and get this video done. So yeah, was it worth the money? I think so. You know, something different, to have a bit of a try of some different brews. None of them were bad enough that, yeah, they weren't drinkable, couldn't be drunk. But a couple have not been as up to the standard I would have liked. A couple were alright. But hey, that's how it is. They're not all going to tick everybody's boxes. Someone else might find that bloody absolutely delicious. Anyway, that's me. So, questions, comments, stick them down the bottom if you feel like doing so. Did you get the GABS? Yeah. Share your experience. Tell us what beers, yeah, blew your mind. Which bloody beers didn't blow your mind. As always, Patrons and Little Johns, cheers for your support, guys. If you subscribe, thank you. If you're not, hit the subscribe button. Get involved. Get notified when things are happening. Leave a like, hit the like button. I don't know the one on the screen I'm doing. I'm probably off the screen. It's down there. So that's me anyway. So till I'm looking at you again, we're brewing beer, drinking beer, talking beer, good brewing.